astronauts saw a mysterious aircraft drifting near space. But when they zoomed in, what they discovered would forever change aviation history forever. In April 1986, Major Brian Schul and Major Walter Watson flew their SR-71 Blackbird over Libya on a bomb damage assessment mission. American F-111 jets had just struck Libyan targets linked to Muammar Gaddafi, and the Blackbird's task was to capture photographic evidence of the results. But as they passed over the desert at over 80,000 feet, their radar warning systems erupted. Libyan surface-to-air missiles had locked onto their position. Instead of turning away, Schul did the opposite. He pushed the throttles forward, accelerating toward danger. This maneuver reflected everything the SR-71 was built for: unmatched speed, altitude, and survivability. The decision to push faster rather than flee defined the Blackbird's legacy, but the aircraft's origin went back decades, to the aftermath of a Cold War disaster. In May 1960, Francis Gary Powers' U-2 spy plane was shot down over the Soviet Union, exposing American espionage operations and humiliating the U.S. government. The incident proved that the U-2 was no longer sufficient. It flew too slow, too low, and was too easy to target. The CIA needed an aircraft that could fly faster and higher than any missile or interceptor. Lockheed engineer Clarence Kelly Johnson was given the task. Working in the ultra-secret Skunk Works division, he and his team designed something revolutionary. The new aircraft would fly above 80,000 feet and at speeds exceeding Mach 3 beyond the reach of any weapon. The design required a material strong enough to survive temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, created by friction with the atmosphere. Aluminum couldn't withstand the heat, so they turned to titanium, a metal stronger and lighter but rare and difficult to work with. Ironically, the world's largest supplier was the Soviet Union. Through a network of front companies, the CIA secretly purchased Soviet titanium to build the very aircraft that would spy on them. The engineers faced constant setbacks. Titanium shattered conventional tools and corroded easily. Entire manufacturing methods had to be reinvented, but they persisted. Johnson's design also introduced radar-deflecting angles and sharp edges that made the aircraft partially invisible to radar, an early form of stealth. The black paint was chosen not for camouflage, but to dissipate heat. Thus, the Blackbird was born. Powered by two Pratt & Whitney J58 engines, the SR-71 could behave like both a jet and a ramjet. Its evasive strategy was simple. When detected or targeted, it would accelerate. Between 1966 and 1990, the SR-71 conducted thousands of missions across the globe. Nearly 4,000 missiles were launched at it, but not one ever hit. This unmatched record brought Schul and Watson to their 1986 mission. As Libyan missiles launched below, the two men accelerated beyond Mach 3. The SR-71 pushed into the edge of space, where the air was thin and stars were visible even in daylight. The curvature of the Earth appeared below them, a view few pilots ever experienced. At that moment, astronauts on a separate mission saw a fast-moving object below their orbit. They reported it to Mission Control, puzzled by what appeared to be an aircraft streaking through near space. What they saw wasn't a spacecraft. It was Schul and Watson's SR-71. The jet had climbed so high that it briefly entered the lower reaches of space, a level typically reserved for rockets. Back inside the Blackbird, the men focused on survival. The airframe temperature was climbing dangerously. They reached speeds above Mach 3.5, setting personal and likely aircraft records. Turning at those speeds was risky, but necessary. As they banked sharply away from Libya, the missiles chasing them lost their lock and burned out, as it was unable to reach the jet's altitude or velocity. When Schul and Watson finally landed at RAF Mildenhall, engineers examined the aircraft's titanium skin. It showed heat stress beyond normal limits, a sign of just how extreme the flight had been. Despite the conditions, the mission was a success. The reconnaissance photos were crystal clear, capturing every target precisely, but it was obvious how close the danger had been. The SR-71 served for over 2 decades, outpacing every missile fired at it and outlasting 6 U.S. presidents. Retired in 1999, it still holds the world record for speed and altitude. No aircraft since has flown higher or faster.